You mentioned earlier on about how when you're setting these things up, in addition to the kinds of tutorials you provided, the Jupyter notebooks there, people might want to consult things like Stack Overflow. Now, that immediately in my mind jumped to today, how I am much less frequently using Stack Overflow. And for me, I'm usually using Claude by Anthropic, but there's also GPT-4o from OpenAI or Gemini from Google, these state of the art LLMs. Have you kind of like pair programmed with one of these LLMs on an optimization problem?
Yes, and I uh, do it a lot to see how well it works.
Yeah.
And actually, we that is something that I'm exploring with people internally. We are putting together a custom GPT that will help with some of this, and we're coming at it from a an educational perspective of this is going to help you understand optimization modeling. I would not feel comfortable putting anything, copy pasting code and putting it into production. And right now, for anything really, I mean, not just optimization, but anything, literally anything, any code generation that pops out for anything, you gotta do some checking on that. Same thing for mathematical optimization, but it does a surprisingly good job of making that logical connection it is there is like this incredible parallel between how I was talking about someone states a decision problem and you need to translate it. That's exactly what you know what you can do with all the tools that you're just talking about with and so you just give it a prompt and yeah, it'll do a really good job. There are things that it makes mistakes on. There are um, and we are trying to understand those. And I think it could be later this year. We do plan on sort of doing like a webinar on that. It'll be something that'll be really cool because yeah, again, I'm experimenting a lot with some problems, and we also have a couple other people who are doing that. And part of Gurobi's innovation is we had an internal innovation competition. So like everyone submitted ideas and things, and one of my colleagues was like, "Hey, we should do modeling with with GBT," and like everyone's like, "Yep, 100%." That was like everyone, no other uh, problem, or no other innovation project really came close. That was the clear winner. But yeah, it's something that I 100% think is a great idea. You just need to take it with the proper grain of
Yeah,
salt that you
yeah.
do with everything.
Yeah, so for getting started, for educating yourself on how optimization problems work and how you can be integrating Gurobi through the Python API or the R API into your code, having suggestions from these top of the line cutting edge LLMs, like I already mentioned, Claude 3.5, GPT-4o, and Gemini from Google. I suspect it is similar to my experience with any of the coding that I do, where, yeah, like you said, most of the time it doesn't make mistakes, but because it does sometimes make mistakes, you need to be sure that you understand what's going on in that code. You can't just copy paste and put it into production, like you said.
And from our experience, the simple models, we actually started benchmarking these too, like our simple models from our Jupyter Notebook library. And it does super simple models extremely well. Like you can set it and forget it for that. And then once you get to like intermediate, then it's like a coin flip whether or not there'll be an error. And then complex models right now, we've seen some improvement, but there's just some things that it particularly once you start talking about like abstract ideas, like one that we had a little bit of a problem with but actually recently saw some improvement is a 3D tic-tac-toe type of game. Like, okay, can you do this in minimal, like filling in minimal number of lines in order to do something. Like I think it's filling in the 3D board with minimal number of three, connecting three X's in a row or three O's in a row, doing that. And we had some problems with like the just the abstract nature of that problem just didn't really translate well. So I mean, yeah, there are some things, there are some problems, but yeah, always verify.